Alright, so I've got a Samsung French door refrigerator, model number, I don't know if you can see that, RFG237 yada 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 yada. And the complaint on this is, I took the bottom drawer out down here, is not cooling. Samsung, these expensive $4,000 and $5,000 refrigerators have a lot of problems that are pretty much deemed non-repairable. But I've checked for leaks in all these joints. Checked for leaks everywhere. I've actually put dye in this system. I checked for leaks. Yeah, that's a hole that I made, but I've checked for leaks. You want to check for leaks at all these welds. There's little plastic things that cover right here where the copper meets aluminum. You can check that with a little bubble mixer, bubble leak detector. And anyway, so I cut into here because I had a lot of moisture, and yeah, you can see my house back through that hole. But anyways, so a lot of these are deemed not repairable, and I'll show you why. When you have a freon leak on one of these fancy Samsungs, excuse my mess here, they run, I've cut with a Dremel, and they run the capillary tube and your low side tube from the evaporator all the way in the wall. And so what happens is you get moisture buildup. Let me find my screwdriver. Oh, it's in my pocket. What happens is you get moisture buildup. So if I take this out here and I squeeze this, well, that doesn't have much there, but can you see that on camera? You see that moisture? Basically, what's happening, you want to be real careful if you do this. You got to be willing to throw away your refrigerator if you go this far. But all that moisture in here causes, this is not me that chipped all this copper. This is, I was real gentle when I got around this copper line, taking this insulation out, but the you can see it's just been corroding all the way down, and somewhere between here and way down here there's gonna be a freon leak. Now I've got a little temporary access port here to tap into the sealed system and put freon in it. I also put dye in it, which I couldn't find any leak with putting dye in it. Dye, you basically come back a couple hours later or a week later, use a UV light, and you can and it will glow wherever it's leaking from. But I couldn't find the leak anywhere. This customer actually donated this refrigerator to me for science. So this has become a science project because I want to know where it's leaking, because I've run into several Samsung refrigerators and LG refrigerators that are just not repairable. But you want to check all your, you can check here with bubble stuff. I use gas leak detector. This stuff actually works pretty good. It's got a little, you can have the unit running and it's just got that on there, and you would dab it like that and see if that weld wasn't good enough when this was running, that would start making bubbles. But believe me when I tell you, I've checked every one of these joints and I could not find where it's leaking. Normally I can. So in the name of science, I'm going to finish using a Dremel. See, I got a Dremel right here, and I'm gonna follow these lines all the way down. Now the freezer lines, I don't think there's a leak on the freezer side, This has got a dual evaporator. I don't think there's a leak on the fridge side or on the freezer side because I've got so much moisture on the fridge side, and I've got a lot more corrosion than I'm going to have on the freezer side. You know, I've checked this whole evaporator coil for leaks. Nothing. It's not leaking. And I'm going to probably end up cutting into up there too to see if I can find a leak. But I will check back and update later once I find this leak. I just wanted to kind of document my progress so far. And yeah, Samsung, the most beautiful piece of junk that you can buy. Alrighty.